Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our last Creek Show Virtual Artist Talk. Today, I'm really excited to be chatting with April Clark of Clark Richardson Architects about the Creek Show 2015 installation, The Natural UnNatural. Hi, April. How's it going?
Hi, Homer. Good to be with you.
Thanks so much for joining us. So here's a really great photo of The Natural UnNatural. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and this installation?
Sure. Well, my name is April Clark. I am a partner with Clark Richardson Architects. And so as we had a solo team that year as just our firm 5 years ago now. This was actually, I think, the second year of Creek Show. So we were just one year off of the inaugural event. We're really, really excited about it. That year is kind of interesting. As you know, the Waller Creek Flood Tunnel was under construction. It wasn't yet done while this event was taking place, and actually in 2015 was when Harvey struck. And so there was floods going on. There was still a lot of kind of waterway chaos in Austin as they completed the tunnel. And so really kind of the inspiration of this piece came from the chaotic nature of all of that flooding, and to just create something that was maybe a little bit scary, a little bit wild, somewhat grotesque, something that was kind of unexpected, that kind of left people thinking, kind of about the destructive qualities of water, not just necessarily its beauty, but kind of the two things paired together. And I think that this event, kind of as the long introduction and long rollout to what's coming soon, it kind of helped introduce this creek in many different ways, and the monster, that is alive still and underneath all the bridges. So that's kind of how we thought about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, here's a really great photo from one of the bridges along Waller Creek. So what are some of the challenges that you and your team faced throughout the design and installation process?
If someone had told me that we would be working with electrical wires during a flood under a bridge, I would have been like, no, thank you. These are situations that architects try to avoid. But, so a lot of it was coming down to, we had a vision, and how could we make it work in a place that is known to flood while it had been a very wet season, and just working with kind of the limitations of the site. And this property, we were just underneath the 8th Street Bridge right below Stubbs, and Stubbs was our outlet. They were our power source. And so we built this thing in our office, and we kind of transported there, and we had a whole league of volunteers from different contractors that were volunteering to help us kind of get it set up and into the water. And then we had the lovely people at Stubbs who are willing to, guard an extension cord that came down over the bridge and lit this thing up every night. But it was a lot of kind of trial and error. We knew what we wanted it to be, but then kind of when you get a piece like this into the site, you're just kind of testing some of the finer details until you kind of create the experience that you're looking for. And then it just kind of becomes its own thing. So it's fun.
Yeah, it looks so awesome. I wish I could have seen this one in person. So tell me a little bit about, like the actual wires that are lit up and the orb that we see.
Yeah, so what is actually constructed, it's kind of hard to see from the pictures, but there's a kind of plastic sphere, an acrylic sphere in the back that's a 4-foot diameter. So it kind of looked like a bubble. And then inside of that, there was another sphere that was a smaller sphere that was kind of wrapped in these pulsating LED strands that it made it look like a heartbeat. And so it was just this kind of pulsing piece in the middle of this bubble in the water. And then from that, there was these, we like to call them like tentacles, that came out, and there were these long strands of LEDs that kind of went through the water. So it's hard to tell from the pictures, but a lot of these lines go in the water and run up and down the creek. And then some of them kind of go up on top of the bridge. You can see the back of Stubbs there. They kind of reach up. And part of that was, placing these tendrils so that some Creek Show was brand new back then. It had only been there for 1 year. And so we wanted to give little moments that maybe somebody was driving by that see some strange thing kind of up on the bridge that they didn't know what it was, but maybe it was a glimpse of something that would cause them some bit of curiosity to go explore and investigate a little bit more, and open them up to the space that Austin hasn't really been able to experience, for decades before because of the flooding. And so excited about that changing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of as you're looking back, is there anything that you might have done differently?
I would have, the thing that was, I think, the most amazing about being involved in all of this was sitting under the bridge, watching people's responses and reactions to it, which as architects, we build buildings and they're set and we get to walk through with clients and we get to see, that they're excited about them, but it's not really the raw impression. And with this thing, you could just sit there and kind of, the fly on the wall and just kind of experience what people were feeling at the moment. And so if I could go back in time, I would have recorded that. We took a lot of notes and people were sending us a lot of different comments. People were one woman did an interpretive dance under there and had this video of herself dancing with it, that people sent us poems that they wrote about it. And there's just a lot of this just kind of interaction that was just alive in ways that we never could have expected. People were saying it's Sigourney Weaver alien thing under there, run from it. It was just this whole kind of Austin experience, and it made us feel very kind of with the community in that moment. I think that that's something that doing public work like this brings out, that you never know what it's going to be. It's just raw experience and raw emotions and just these conversations that you never could have anticipated, that are just so much fun to be a part.
Yeah, that just warms my heart to hear that. It's really awesome just to really see how people interact with your work and experience it. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for future Creek Show artists that are interested in submitting an idea next year?
I would say there's just watching all of these projects go up over the years, and we volunteered on the year after us helping some of the people set it up. And I will just say that it's a creative endeavor. So there's no one fits all. And because of the raw sites, it's just, you have to be flexible. You have to kind of have an idea, but be willing to let that idea transform and evolve, and just really use design thinking on the fly and let things kind of take their own, vision and kind of develop as they go. Because I think that the projects that have been the most difficult have been ones that have been trying to be very firm with a very specific thing, that if that very specific thing doesn't work for whatever reason, because you're setting it up in a creek during a flood, in a rain event, and you can't change it, then it's just devastating. But if you set something up that's an idea of something, that you have something of a structure that is a path of design thought, then you can kind of be flexible in the moment and change because it's a crazy site to build on, and it's the most fun thing that we've ever done, but it was definitely stressful.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that's kind of a common thread between all of the artists I've been talking to this week. Just really being, I guess, accepting of the fact that, your idea is going to evolve as you start installing and creating and really, figuring out how this is going to work,
Yeah, that's part of the fun of it too, right? So it's letting it change and adapt, and
yeah, definitely. So I'm just curious, where did this installation end up? Is it still around?
It's in our basement. And yes, we're one of the few houses in Austin that has a basement. But it's kind of funny because we wanted, after we were done with it, and Creek Show says, okay, you're done. This is yours now. Go home with it. You have have all these ideas. Like for many years, we were trying to place it in other places, and we had visions of it just showing up in parks randomly, because it just needs an extension cord. And so we wanted to kind of keep using it as a traveling piece, that could just show up. And for years, we would just be driving around and we'd be like, can you imagine if it was up under that bridge or up in those trees or, in the thinkery in the background? Like you start just imagining these different places that it could live. And then, life gets complicated and difficult, and it's difficult to just, do that on a whim. But we're waiting. And for Halloween, twice now, 2 Halloweens, we've pulled it out and set it up so that people who happen to be walking down our street trick-or-treating or whatever might just see that and be like, what is that? Because, ultimately it's still Austin, and it's fun to see stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I'm glad that it got, a couple extra lives during Halloween time. That's awesome. So, April, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, it's funny. This is just such a great event. I know that it's just going to keep getting better and better now that there is not just, this long, beautiful pathway that everyone is working so hard on to make just more amazing, but keeping these little moments and these activities alive. Like I'm excited to see what's next and the grand unveil when we all can come back together and kind of celebrate and what this was all about. And I think that everyone, you guys down there at Waterloo Greenway have done an amazing job and just keeping our interest peaked, and excited to see the next round.
Yes, we're so excited. The first phase of Waterloo Greenway to open is Waterloo Park, and that's set to open next year. And we're just so excited to open the park to the community and, activate it with, cultural programming and concerts and, just really bringing people closer to nature. And we're really looking forward to it. So thank you so much, April. Cool. It was really cool to look back at the Natural UnNatural with you today.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you all so much for watching. This weekend is actually the last weekend to check out the illuminated Moody Amphitheater at Waterloo Park. It's going to be illuminated every night through this Sunday, November 22nd, from 6 to 10 p.m. And it's really an amazing sight to see. And I just want to also do a special shout out to our sponsors, BBVA, 3M, The Word Company, and Waterloo Media. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye. April. Thanks.
Thanks.